Hello, and first of all, I'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you for all the work that you've done on my father's work. If he were here today, he would personally say thank you and job well done. It's words can't describe what y'all have done with this idea. Secondly, I would like to relay the idea that everything that we talk about today is not vehicle specific. So anytime I mention bikes or trikes or things like that, this idea goes way past all of that. Basically, it's transportation in general. Buses, trains, anything that has to deal with drag, we're going to address today. Okay. Now, imagine, if you will, that there's a wind tunnel right there. Wind's blowing from there to here. We've all seen the commercials. You know, they got that little white cloud going over the hood and then over the windshield and the roof. Or we've seen to where the wind's coming around like this and going around the vehicle. And so my question is what's the quickest from point A to point B? It's a straight line. It's not over and around. It's through. So that's where we're going. We're going through the vehicle. So you can see, basically, imagine if you were to take a honeycomb and run it through this vehicle and run it back out, what would be left? A bunch of chambers or baffles. You can see I've already started one here, one down in here, coming over here. You're going to clip that off because that's not part of a honeycomb. We're going to raise this up a little bit to fit our honeycomb. So this is going to be connected from here to here and create a baffle right here. So you get all this air channeling through here, coming up and out through here, down through there. However, we're going to need a very... Now this spoiler is unique in the fact that it has 3 settings. I like to think of it kind of like a window pane. Window pane open, window pane closed, and then window pane mesh, so somewhere in between. So this spoiler is articulated, so basically, depending upon the telemetry of the vehicle and the driver input, the gas brake combination between the two, this will change. Now, let's take that one step further. Let's go up here, and let's take that rear spoiler, or the concept, and we'll call this a main artery here. We take that, put one here, and put one here. Now, effectively, you can control the aerodynamics of the vehicle front to rear, left and right. You got a lot going on over here, so what I'm thinking is on this left-hand side, you got front, left, right, open, close. What effectively, you have manual control over the aerodynamic capabilities of the vehicle, front to rear, left to right. Now, let's take that one step further. Let's say you've got a racetrack. Every driver or rider, before he steps foot on that track, has it memorized. What if you pre-programmed the vehicle based on the track? So, going into a certain corner, you can set it up a certain way. So effectively, the bike is already set up for the driver based on the way that he's driven that same track, that same corner, however many times. The driver ultimately has an override switch, but it can be customized. So as you pre-program this thing throughout this course, he can say, I would like more here or whatever, and he can just add it on his own without having to bring it into the pit. So, which brings us to the last part of this. So, you have, right here, we have our channels, our tunnels, and a big box here. So, I used to fly a plane, a Cessna, a 2-seater Cessna. So, imagine if you would, grab the cab and cut the front of the plane off. Take that piece that's left is what? It's a motor and a propeller. So, take that and put it down into here. So with the propeller and the motor in conjunction with all the chambers and baffles, you have now created and controlled drag. Artificial drag, no drag, whatever is completely controllable front to rear, left to right with this setup. Now on this particular vehicle, what I would continue to do is, since we already got this front end raised, we would cut the upper and lower A-arms, I'd say by about half, pull this in, make this a wheel well. So you have a fender here, and this will be pulled in and forward a little bit, which you're thinking, whoa, that'd make this thing extremely unstable. Exactly. That's why on this particular vehicle, my father and I discussed cutting the frame in half, separating the two, put a bulkhead on either side, then reattaching the two with an adapter. Therefore, we give it the ability to turn on an X and Y axis simultaneously. So you think, well, what about the handlebars? That's easy. You take forks, you put them on the end of a ball. The ball has the spline. And you have a coupling on here, it sits in there like that. So at any given angle, it will still turn, and you get a normal rack and pinion like that. So that's simple. Or you say, well, what about the forks? Well, that's easy. You just take the forks, put a ball on the end of it, put a spline on it. You have a socket and ball, put a spline on the end of that. That just connected to a normal, just a rack and pinion like this. So at any angle given that you're turning this. Now, on the vehicles that are trikes that have two wheels in the back, like say your Harley folks, and they want to be able to have the swing action as well, I figured out a way to turn their trike back into a traditional bike. All you do is just separate it at the back. You got sprocket to sprocket turning like this. You just take the engine, transverse mount it, turn it into this. You take a drive shaft, kind of like you look underneath the bottom of a box truck. You got a drive shaft going down here. You're going to go in the meat here to like a U-joint differential like this. So your shaft comes down, turns this way, turns the U-joint, so it allows the bike to be able to turn like this and still be able to pivot like that. So basically, in an effort to help kind of expedite this a little bit, I've only covered about half of everything that my father and I have worked on. So my thought is this. You're asking yourself, what do I want or what do I need? What I want to do is very simple. I want to see my father's dream come to completion. I want to see this or something like it be a slipstream ghost. And my goal, again, I would like to thank you for your time, and hopefully we can combine our resources together and we can do something phenomenal. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.